Hola, everybody. Welcome to the Chats with Yvonne podcast with me, your host, Yvonne Armenta, where we talk about public speaking con cultura. Today's podcast episode is going to be about managing stage fright. What happens when we freeze up on stage? What can we do to manage it? And what can we do prior to going on stage to help us manage that stage fright on the spot? Before we do that, we're going to go ahead and pick a card from the Public Speaking con Cultura Practice Card deck, which is a deck that I created to help you practice your public speaking wherever you are. And I think we're going to go with El Chisme. De parte mía. Consider for a second that you're in the room with the single most important person in your life. What do you want to say to them? For the sake of time, I think I would like to tell them that I really love them. That everything that they do for me, that they have done for me, I see it. And it's not why I love them. I don't love them because of what they have done for me, but I love them because of who they are. I love them because of what they teach me without even realizing that they're teaching me something. I love so deeply because of this person. I love so complexly. I don't know how to say that. I don't know what I'm looking for, but my love and the way that I love is so complex because of them as well. And I think it's what makes it beautiful. I thank them every single day in my mind, and I don't actually say it out loud as often as I should. And that the person that I'm talking about, by the way, is my mom. I love you, mommy. I don't think that I say it often enough. I don't know why I don't. It's one of those things that you should be saying out loud more often. And for one reason or the other, we just don't. It's something that I need to practice a lot more. But I love you, mommy. Te quiero. You're the best thing ever. Not the best thing. You are the best person in this world for me. I am so, so happy that I ended up being your child and that you were the person that helped me navigate and grow up in this world, because without you, without your knowledge, by the way, y'all, my mom, she is full of these one-liners about life that I carry with me every single day. Every time I need to pull something from, oh my God, I don't feel like doing this. No dejes para mañana lo que puedes hacer hoy. Some other more explicit ones that I won't share on here, but she really is my inner voice. And if I were to develop this story or speech around her, I would start with, my message is that I love you, but really I would form the foundation of my speech around the inner voice. How my mom continues to be and will forever be the strongest inner voice that I have. And that's hard because I'm an introvert. And my voice inside my head is pretty strong. But the voice of my mom always guides me. It centers me. It gets me going when I need it most. When I'm slacking on something, I think about what my mom says. When I'm feeling deeply, I think about the way that my mom handled things. So that's my answer to the prompt. In a different situation, or when you are at home by yourself, or when you pull out the same card and maybe you're in a group of friends, I'd challenge you to take time, to take at least 5 minutes before answering to get an understanding of what that story is. And, or sometimes, like I did today, that initial response, that initial answer that I gave is my brainstorm for the story that I would develop. And so once you say the brainstorm out loud, you'll actually start to hear the message form. And from those words that you say there, you can then develop a speech around it. And then if you really wanted to, share that with the world, or share it with the person who's most important to you. I'll text my mom after this. I'll call her. I'll FaceTime her after I'm done moving. That was beautiful. Y no porque sean mis cartas, pero it was really beautiful to sit and think about that, especially right now, just on a personal level. I am currently moving, and moving feels like a never ending process. It's very overwhelming. On top of that, still doing consultations and work stuff. So I am just very overwhelmed, and I felt like I needed that moment of reflection that I haven't been able to give myself all week. So that was nice to reflect on. The Chisme prompts are all around storytelling. So they're meant to bring up these emotions, these messages, these stories that we often forget that we even have or don't spend time being prompted to think about. So we just don't say them out loud. Like I said, we're going to be talking about stage fright. And the very first part that I want to talk about, I want to keep it really simple, is the preparation. You have to set yourself up for success. That means knowing your material deeply. So deeply that even if you freeze on stage, you know what is coming next. You've memorized the order of the content that you're sharing. You've memorized the essence of the message, right? So in your outline, even, it could be helpful to write the bulleted points, a headliner, and then what the point of you saying that thing is, so that you begin to memorize that outline versus entire speeches. I always like to say that you know your material, and if you don't, you should get to know it. If you have this outline and you know what is coming next and you've memorized the outline, you know everything else in between, right? You're the expert at your story. You're the expert at the facts. You just know your stuff deeply. And this is so that you can rely on that muscle memory instead of in the moment when you feel all of these emotions and nerves from being on stage, overthinking it. If you're able to go to the location where you would be speaking, stand on that stage so that you can actually envision yourself being on that stage and what it'll look like when there's an audience there. If you can't do that, at least spend some time hovering around the area where you will be speaking. If you are speaking virtually, for example, set yourself up so that you feel stable in your standing or sitting down, whatever it is, but so that you can also visualize yourself presenting and you are in that moment. One of the hardest things about practice is that you're not in front of the audience, right? The audience that you're going to be speaking to, the outfit that you're going to be that you're going to be wearing, the same exact environment that you'll be in, the mindset that you'll be in. It's why when you're in theater, you do a dress rehearsal, right? Do a dress rehearsal. That means everything is exactly as it will be on the day of, so that you start to get familiar with it. And you get familiar with the movements of that blazer. Does it fit a little too tight? Is it a little too loose? Is it a little too transparent? It's going to show the sweat stains. You can figure that out during the dress rehearsal. And if you do that, you're able to better visualize yourself taking the stage and doing your thing. Control what you can and prepare for the things you can't control. That is my number one rule. You can't control technology as much as we would like to. Sometimes it's a little faulty. You can't control how many people are in the room. You can't control what the stage looks like necessarily unless you are also part of hosting the event. There's a lot of things you can't control. You can't control people's reactions. You can't control the agenda. And if you are before, after lunch, or the last session right before they get to go home, you can't control any of that. But what you can control is, hey, what kind of mic am I going to have? So that in your practice, if you're going to be holding a mic, you can practice holding the mic. If you're going to have one of those headsets, a wireless mic perhaps, you know that your hands are going to be free, so you can practice that as well. Really, it's about immersing yourself in the actual experience as much as possible so that when you get on stage, you're already familiar with things. And the things that you can't control, like yourself, your speech, knowing your material deeply, you've taken care of. And the things that you can't control, like technology, okay, I ask myself, or I tell myself, if technology fails me, what am I going to do? Am I going to pause? Are my slides extremely needed for this? Can I move on? Will I move on? What will I say if the slides stop working? What will I say if the mic stops working? Do I want to nervously tell a joke? I mean, that kind of comes a little naturally. But do I want to pause while I get someone to get me a new mic? These are all very important things that we often don't prepare for, even though we kind of can. You can't expect that there will be a technical difficulty. You can't expect that someone in the audience is going to yawn, but you can at the same time. And so prepare for those moments so that if you do see someone on the stage, if you do see someone yawning, you don't take that personal and just completely freeze. Because it can happen. It has happened. It throws you off a little bit. It has thrown me off a little bit. But something that I've learned to understand is that yawn has nothing to do with my content. And if it does, no me puede molestar ahorita. I don't know if this person only slept 4 hours. I don't know if they're a new parent and maybe haven't been sleeping well. I don't know what time they woke up. Maybe they traveled to this conference. I don't know anything. I don't know their personal life. For all I know, that yawn is due to something they are personally experiencing, and it has nothing to do with my presentation. It doesn't mean that my presentation is boring. All of that being said, you prepared as much as you can, but you're on stage and it still happens. There's this stage fright that we get. How can we manage it in real time? The first are grounding techniques to be able to center yourself. Those are things like feeling your feet, moving your toes around, touching things. Maybe you have, I have this bear that I'll often squeeze on, right? Things that you can feel or touch. Maybe this ring. I always have this ring, which, by the way, fun fact, I've had this ring since I was in preschool. It's my birthstone. And if I take it off, you'll see it kind of molded to my finger, which is kind of strange, but I will touch this, or I'll kind of scratch my palms a little bit. I know that's weird, but just to feel something, to ground myself in the moment, and almost to some capacity, pinch myself back into reality, pinch myself into feeling. Even though feeling is the last thing you want to do because you don't want to stop feeling those nerves. It's about establishing, aquí estoy. Let me put my feet firmly on the ground and feel my body in this moment. Breathing seems so cliche. Breathing seems like the most duh kind of thing to do, but I can guarantee you that not a lot of us do it. Before going on stage, while on stage, it's como que se nos olvida that we can take deep breaths, that we should take deep breaths. So right before going on stage, breathe slowly. Take your time with that breath. When you're on stage, you can also breathe slowly. Take your time with that breath. It's okay. And along with that, tied to that a little bit, is pausing. I know I always say this, but be intentional with your pausing. But also, even if you didn't practice with the pause, or you didn't intend to pause during this particular moment of your speech because you didn't really feel like using the technique to emphasize something, if you need it in that moment, use the pause. The pause is your best friend when you're on stage. It keeps us from using filler words, which may dilute our message, may or may not dilute our message. It keeps us from making weird noises like, or making an awkward joke that really has nothing to do with our presentation. And honestly, I feel like nervousness and excitement feel the same. I feel the same about public speaking as I do right before going on a roller coaster. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm about to do this. I don't want to do this anymore. Wait, do I want to do this? I do want to do this. This is fun. I don't know if I want to do this I'm on the roller coaster and I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I decide to do this? This is crazy. And then I get off the roller coaster. I get off stage. I'm like, I cannot wait to do that again. So it's just a part of the process. Also, if you are experiencing stage fright or you freeze up when you're on stage, just don't make eye contact with people. Maintain your eye level to where it looks like you're looking at people, but don't fully look at them. This is something that I've done for years. I connect with people because it looks like I'm looking at you, but I'm really not. But I will, after my speech, I will go and connect with you personally. And one of my favorite things is talking to the audience afterwards, because that is my more relaxed self. That is my more intentional self. When I'm on stage, it's like I'm here. I want to deliver the message that I've practiced so hard to deliver. And I want you to connect with it. But right now, for the moment, to be honest, it has to be a one-way communication stream in order for me to get through the nerves. And once I get through the nerves, okay, let's go back to two-way, which is what I prefer. And lastly, it's what do you do after the speaking engagement? Funny enough, I was talking to a friend who has had a bunch of speaking engagements this past month, which I'm hella excited for her about. And we were talking about, gosh, I know why you love this, right? And at the same time, how draining energetically it was in the best way possible, right? Because you want to do it over and over and over again. It's almost like, again, I'll use a roller coaster. You're on the roller coaster and every single one of your expressions is loud, right? You're screaming. Everything is just big and bold. And then when you get off the ride, you're like, oh my gosh, I finally get to relax this. And it's not like you didn't enjoy it or didn't have fun. It was extreme. So now you get to relax those muscles again. It's the same with public speaking. So I have to say that as an introvert especially, it's so important to find ways to recover after a public speaking engagement. And recover is not a bad word, by the way. You reflect. You celebrate what you did on that stage because it's a big deal to do that. So many of us want to share our stories, but oftentimes can't because, one, we don't have the opportunity to, or we haven't gotten to that space yet where we take an opportunity to go on stage. So celebrate your win. Do the things that allow you to reset and find joy in your body. When you were on stage, where were you feeling the most tension? Go and do something that allows you to let loose a little bit. If my shoulders are feeling really tense, okay, let me relax them. Let me go lay down on the grass. Let me do something that allows me to relax those muscles again. Because when you're on stage, everything feels big and bold. And when you step off the stage, you have to come back to self intentionally. And something else that I want to share, because I know what it can feel like when we experience stage fright or when we freeze up in the moment, is we start to judge ourselves for, I could have done this better. I should have done this. I should have done that. I always say that we're in a constant state of studying ourselves as speakers. We should be. But there are some speaking engagements that are not a great representation of our capacity as speakers. It was just in that moment. Maybe there were external things going on that made it so that you were a little less focused or that you felt like you didn't perform as well. You get to decide whether the last speaking engagement that you delivered is one that you want to study yourself and give yourself feedback on. If you know that you weren't all there or your mind wasn't right or something else was going on, then why use that as the foundation for your speaking? Don't judge. Don't give yourself an opportunity to judge yourself so harshly. Love on yourself after speaking. You did a beautiful, beautiful thing. And to end our podcast episode today with our segment Con Cultura, I want to offer a simple reflection. What about public speaking makes you nervous? I want you to just free write on this. And through it, I think you'll notice that maybe it doesn't make you nervous. Maybe it only makes you nervous in certain situations. And then I'd like you to assess whether nerves are a good or a bad thing. Truly write down what you feel, not what you think you should say. Just write down what you actually feel. Then maybe write down something that you fear, something that is actually really scary to you in the world. I want you to free write on that as well. Then I want you to note the differences between that thing that you really fear and public speaking. Because my hope is that you'll realize that, dang, the thing I'm really scared of, like, y'all, this is really stupid, but I'm really scared of dinosaurs. I can't see a live action one. I can't see even a statue of T-Rex. I just can't do it. It freaks me out. And in my, it's almost like it's a good comparison to be like, the thing that is really scary to me are dinosaurs. And if I compare that to public speaking, man, public speaking is nothing. I'd rather do public speaking every day. if I never have to see one of those again. So, take some time to reflect on that. I hope that you find it to be a good exercise to, I won't say get over the fear of public speaking, but understand those feelings within the context of the larger world and where they come from. And if there's anything that we can do to minimize them, I think this is one of the ways that we can do that. It's all about perspective, right? So with that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in. You didn't have to spend any time with me today, but you chose to, and I'm grateful for that. If you liked this episode, please like it, speak your mind in the comments, subscribe, rate the podcast. It helps more people find us and reach us and join in on the conversations. If you think there's anybody that would benefit from listening and tuning into this podcast episode, please share it with them. Y bueno, con eso, thank you all so much. Nos vemos a la próxima.